Good morning, everyone. This is Jeff from Daily Drivers, and today we're switching it up a little bit. So this is actually one of my personal vehicles. This is a 2008 Chevrolet Cobalt SS. Bought this back in March. I traded in my 2017 WRX for a 2021 Trailblazer, Chevy Trailblazer. And after a little bit of time, I was like, you know what? I miss having a fun car. So the dealership I usually work with, Blaze Alexander Chevy in Muncie, they happened to trade this in, and I'm like, you know what, I want it. So I mean, for a few reasons too. So the main reason was it was kind of a childhood dream car of mine. You know, I grew up playing Need for Speed and all that kind of stuff, and that was usually the car that I went with whenever I played those kinds of racing video games back in the day. And so it's kind of like a childhood dream come true, if you will. So I thought it was pretty cool to have. So this is a 2008, so it is turbocharged, not supercharged. I did make sure that I told myself if I was going to get one, it was going to be the turbo model, just because it makes a little more power. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the trunk here. Now you can either do this with the fob or with the key. There's not really a way to grab it, so you just kind of have to get under the lip a little bit. Not pull on the spoiler though, that would be bad. So actually a good amount of room in here. Does have a Pioneer sound system, which is actually decent for what it is. Batteries back here with your spare tire. And then there's these pull levers right here where you can pull the seats down if you wanted to pull the seats down. I'll actually do that. Pull on that. Go ahead and close this. The spoiler flops a little bit because it's, you know, mid to late 2000s. It's General Motors cheap plastic, but it's still a really, really, really fun car. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back, move this up a little bit, and we're going to climb in the back and see what kind of room this has. So sometimes it's a pain in the butt, but alright, I'm going to go ahead and close the door. I'm going to put this up. And I'm going to pretend that this is in any form of a driving position that I would be in, but I mean, even still looking down over there, there's actually a decent amount of room. If you have somebody really short in front of you, it's actually decently comfortable back here. It's just a pain because it's only a two-door, but I don't usually plan on having anybody back here anyway. This snapped back in place. I just heard it, unfortunately, but this seat's it's a 60/40. They do fold down, which is useful at times. It could be. So I'm going to go ahead and put this forward again, if I can reach it. And then get out of here. So when I bought this, there were a couple things done to it, just basic bolt-ons in terms of performance. So it has things like it has a catback exhaust, it has a catless downpipe, cold air intake. Other than that, there's not really anything done to it. So you can tell it has a little extra pep, but it's not like insanely fast. It's just a really, really fun car to throw around. Should have cleaned it up a little bit better, but I got really excited because I actually really do like this car a lot. So underneath the hood, we got a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. Stock, it makes 260 horsepower, 260 pound-feet of torque, paired to a 5-speed manual transmission. And fuel economy is actually pretty good. It gets 22 around town miles per gallon and 32 miles per gallon on the highway. So it's actually pretty economical. Depends on how you drive it. Right now, I mean, it's a fun car. I let it, you know, I give it some every now and then. So I'm averaging 22, 23 miles per gallon. Sometimes 25 if I'm just cruising on the highway. But it is also tuned for 93 octane instead of the normal 87. I'm going to go ahead and start this up. Get my seat back to where it would normally be. Okay, put my cell phone over there so there's no interference with the microphones, because I was hearing that a little bit. All right. Definitely a lot of noises with this car, in a good way. Every once in a while you get a little, I am hearing a little vibrations up top. I think the hood latch for this is a little on the loose side, because I think the hood, I noticed the hood wiggles just a tiny bit. So I think I'm going to end up getting that looked at. But you do have a few creature comforts here. You do have Bluetooth. You have cruise control. All your climates down here, your heat, your AC. You can turn that little snowflake on for the AC. Got your radio, AM, FM. Other than that, it's pretty much on the basic side besides the Pioneer sound system. But this isn't a car that I got for luxuries. I got this to, mess around in, have fun. One of my favorite things is it does have a boost gauge in the A-pillar from factory, which I thought was really, really cool. Dislikes. The one thing I think I don't really care for about this car, other than, I guess I can kind of say the build quality, is the fact that the emergency brake is right under the center console. So if you're going to put it down, you can't grab it like a normal handle. You have to kind of like go from the front, lift it up a little bit, push the button, and then it goes down like that. And then from the front, you'll have to kind of pull it up like that. So that's the one thing that was kind of interesting. That, and I think the center console was either too wide or the seats were too wide, because over time, if you flip this console up enough times, it does tend to tear the seats up on the side, because they are a leather on the side and cloth in the middle. But other than that, I do like it. It has automatic headlights, so it has some luxuries, power mirrors and all that. So I think we're about ready to take it for a drive. And then the glove box is a decent size. It's got all my stuff in it, so can't really show you what kind of room it has, but okay. Just trying to finagle it through my microphone wires here, so this way nothing gets caught up. That should be good. All right, let's take this thing for a ride. Okay. Now I do think this car at some point does need, I believe, a wheel bearing. I can kind of hear like a hum coming from the driver, the front driver's side. But other than that, I mean, I bought this thing with 96,000 miles on it. Right now it has about 102 on it, a little over 102,000. Hasn't really given me any issues since. The only thing I've done since March when I bought it was replace the battery and the map sensor. Super fun car though. Like I said, this is just like the cheap fun car, so makes all kinds of good sounds. The exhaust sounds pretty good. It's not a fart can like I thought it was going to be. Besides those rumbling sounds from either, like I said, a wheel bearing or maybe even the throwout bearing for the transmission. I was going to have that looked at too. Has a nice blow-off valve noise. It's really cold out, but at some point I am going to roll the windows down so you can hear it a little bit better. In here, the cabin, it sounds decent, but when you have the windows open, it sounds really good, minus the wind noise. So pretty effortless coming up the hill here, with it being a higher powered turbo car. Little to no issues. I mean, I barely was on the gas and it went right up the hill. We're going to take it around the corners here and give it a little. Never ever gets old. Absolutely love this thing. Heel toe is pretty good too. Pretty easy to heel toe in it. That's one thing I like about this more than my WRX. I couldn't heel toe in that thing the way the seats and the pedals were set up. So much more fun to drive. Put the windows down now, so this way we can maybe hear the engine a little bit better. It's windy out, so it might not work, but so we're going to test the power out on the highway now. See what you guys think. Start out in second. Because first gear, it has low boost on first gear, so that's not really going to benefit anybody. You don't get full boost until second. That's the way it was tuned. All right. So much fun. This thing is such a blast. This thing is an absolute blast. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but it's insanely fun. And that's all I need. One more pull here. Put the windows up now. It is freezing outside, but it's something I really enjoy doing. I mean, this car is something else. It really is. Such a fun car. If you guys ever have the chance to pick one of these things up, highly recommend it. It won't break the bank, and it's good fun. It really is. And it's pretty much just a car to use for just running around and having fun. I mean, it's not the most, economical or comfortable thing in the world. I mean, these bucket seats are actually decent. They're not too bad. Long road trips, for some people, it might be a little bit of a pain, but If you're just running around locally, this thing is an absolute blast, at the very least. So I don't think I'll ever have a good, enough good things to say about this thing. It's really, really good. Some people like cars that have a little bit of a louder exhaust note, like myself, and then there's some people that have them a little bit quieter. If you get a stock one, I mean, it'll be pretty quiet. This guy pretty much has a straight pipe. The guy that traded it in pretty much straight piped the whole thing, so, and it's catless, so no catalytic converters or anything, and super, super, super fun. All right. Well, like I said, this thing is an absolute ton of fun, and highly recommend this to anybody that's looking for a car that's on the cheaper side, and wants something that's a little on the quicker end of the price range. So really appreciate you guys watching. I had a lot of fun, so I will see you in the next one.